Hello class, hello professor. This is group 1, section 805 and the team members of the group are Maurya Godviala, myself Akhilesh Nalbala, Dhruvateja Jengam and Anvesh Babu Vanamala, and here is our presentation on case 3, HDFC Security Online Banking. Here are some of the important facts that we have found in the case study. And India's banking industry is regulated by the Reserve Bank of India, and there are five types of banks in India. There are public sector banks, private sector banks, cooperative banks, regional rural banks, and foreign banks. And HDFC is one of the leading banks in India. It is a private bank, and public sector banks are not highly satisfying their customers with slow response times. And HDFC, unlike public sector banks, they are providing 24/7 service to the customers through their ATMs, internet banking, phone banking, and mobile banking. And the two reasons the banking industry was compatible with the demands of ISO, the nature of the business and element of relation between the bank and customer. And HDFC began its operations in January of 1995, and they started their online services on June 2005. And it has three business segments: the retail banking, wholesale banking, and treasury. Coming to the more facts about the HDFC Bank, it concentrated more on semi-urban and urban bank market and has an income of 84.1 billion for the year ending in March 2007. And HDFC has signed with RSA security systems to prevent online fraud, and one out of every 150 customers lost money from phishing attacks, averaging $850 per incident. And the HDFC Bank has two types of servers: the authentication servers and online servers. And here are some of the key issues that we have found in the case. How can HDFC handle the potential security threat to inactive online banking customers? How HDFC keeps online banking secure and convenient and reduce the fraudulent transactions? Type of model HDFC should approach to secure the customer data. And coming to the first issue, how can HDFC handle the potential security threat to inactive online banking customers? The first alternative that we have found is notifying the inactive online customers through email or a phone call that their account is getting to be deactivated if they are inactive for more than 6 months. And this might increase the protection to the inactive online customers, and the customer definitely gets satisfied that he's being notified that his account is going to get deactivated, and it is an easy method to solve the issue. But the system is highly dependent on the email account and phone numbers, and if the customer does not have access to the registered phone number, he might not get the information regarding the deactivation. And of course, it is having a lot of issues regarding the phone network signals too, so it might be a problem, and it is one of the major cons. And the cost of system implementation will also be significant here. And the second alternative that we have found is if an inactive online customer logs into his account after a long time, he must be notified or he must be given a key or a one-time password to his registered phone number and email address. And of course, coming to the pros of this, it adds some additional level of security, and the customer also gets satisfied that his account is secure, and the vulnerability and accessibility issues can also be solved. But because of this additional key or some one-time password, the login procedure time gets extended, which makes the customer inconvenient sometimes. And the organization also requires high capital investment to provide this kind of security systems. And the third alternative that we have found is the bank should make the online banking customers to change their passwords for every 6 months. Of course, the investment for this alternative is very small, and it might make the online customers use the account more often through online as they are changing the passwords frequently, and it of course provides additional level of security. But coming to the cons, majority of the people forget their passwords if they are frequently changed, and there is no use for the customers forgetting their passwords, and how could they use their online accounts? And it might not completely solve the issue too. So the recommendation that we have made is the customer should get notified through email or text message to his phone number that his account is about to get deactivated, reducing the risk of inactive online customers or the dormant online customers. And if the customer still needs the online banking, he might go to the nearest HDFC Bank branch and he can reactivate his account. And coming to the second key issue, how HDFC keeps online banking secure and convenient and reduces fraudulent transactions. Here is the alternative one that we have provided by implementing an expert system with neural network knowledge bases, which can have some examples on different transaction cases where it was fraudulent. And coming to the pros, this system is self-educative and it learns from its past experiences and it can improve its performance. And the maintenance cost is too low, and of course takes decisions on the past experiences. And the system, being self-educative, has all the previous transaction histories, uh, and which makes the customer account more secure. And coming to the cons, it is complex. It has, of course, it has high initial investment, and this type of systems is not yet tested and approved in the Department of Banking or in this area. Coming to the second alternative that we have found, um, creating the transactions with the real-time enterprise tools and real-time data on customer activities. Coming to the pros of this, it increases the level of clarity, and the customer also feels that this kind of thing alternative is more convenient, and no additional login processes or authentication is needed. But it is difficult to develop, which is a major con, and the development also may be expensive. And here is the major con for this: if the hackers get to know about this knowledge of banking and this system architecture, it increases a lot of phishing cases. And coming to the third alternative, contacting the customers, if the bank officials of the bank finds that transaction is a fraudulent one, they'll send a notification or some security questions to the customer before the transaction to find that whether the customer is operating the account or not. So coming to the pros of this, the customer feels more convenient and confident to answer the security questions rather than the complete data they ask or the detailed information like their account number and all. These kind of security questions would really solve the issue, and the investment is not too high. Just the bank need to maintain a new automated system which can automatically generate questions to the customers if they found that the transaction is fraudulent. And coming to the cons of this, if the questions are asked frequently to the customer, he might feel that it as an inconvenience, and the same as the previous key issues. It is not useful if the customer is not having access to the registered phone. And the recommended course of action is contacting the customers before a transaction to avoid the blocking of their account or to avoid the fraudulent transactions. It is easy to implement, just the HDFC needs to add some automated system for that, and then it results better. And the third key issue is the type of model HDFC should approach to secure the customer data. The alternative course of actions that we have found are onset model or offset model to secure the data. Coming to the alternative one, the onset model, the pros are the client can directly interact with the bank for sure, as it is onset. But and HDFC has a command over the data network and servers on the onset model, and they're having the same department like uh, as having the servers of their own would make the healthy relationship between the other departments. And coming to the cons, uh, the separate department maintenance needs extra employees, and it has some additional burden on the bank maintaining all the software and hardware operations, and it requires direct investments too. But and one of the major cons is in India we are having a lot of issues with the power supplies and all, and we are not completely depend. We cannot completely rely on the power supply, and we need some additional generator supplies too for additional power. So which is a bit risky. And coming to the second alternative, offset model, um, the offset model is just a cloud computing, and the bank also pays the one who is providing the servers by pay by use service. And of course, it has very less burden, and there will be less additional employees to the bank too, as it is a offset model. And it is also a time saving process, as maximum of the customers do not need to rush to their banks, and they can do the transactions by online banking. And one of the major cons is all the data is handled by a third party, which is having higher risks about the phishing, and the bank doesn't have the command over the servers, uh, which which becomes a major problem if some system failure occurs, and the bank has to totally depend on the third party for access to the servers because they are operating the servers. So the recommended COA that we have the recommendation by us is offset model is better than the onset model, and it requires fewer investments, fewer employees, less burden, and the bank also pays through the pay by use method, and the entire infrastructure is maintained by the offset model, um, which reduces the risks or cost and all to the bank. Uh, and already the HDFC has signed up with RSA Security Systems, and which is the right choice. And that's all about the presentation of case 3 by Group 1 805. Thank you all for listening. Thank you.